Hey, what is going on, everyone? This is Mohammed, your personal PMP coach from Certify with Ease, helping you get certified the fastest and the easiest way possible without reading that 1,000-page textbook, without taking a 35-hour Udemy course, or without attending those super expensive PMP boot camps. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you 6 ways you can cheat on the PMP exam without getting caught. Now, obviously, I'm not going to show you how to cheat or the traditional definition of cheating, but I will show you some cheat codes, some very small hacks that can get you certified as soon as possible. Now, before I jump into this presentation, I got a small request. Please subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up if you are enjoying my video so far. Okay, let's jump into this right now. I'm going to teach you. This is going to be a game changer for your exam. All right, first things first. You got to understand one thing, and I just hate this so much. People, they study everything, and they get to the exam and they realize that they could have done so much less. Ask yourself this question: what if the PMP could be easier? What if it could be easier on you? Check this out. The PMP is a standardized exam, meaning that it follows a certain pattern. The questions are phrased in a certain way. Keywords are used. The questions are structured in a certain manner. If you crack the pattern, you crack the exam. And that's why I always emphasize on formulating principles and mindset. You can check out my other videos. I talk about principles and mindsets throughout all of those videos. Okay? In this video, more specifically, we're going to talk about 6 cheat codes that will get you certified on the exam. Okay? Number 1, I mentioned this before. I'm going to keep mentioning this in all my videos because this is the most popular cheat code slash hack slash principle, whatever you want to call it. For any situation-based question, look out for principle number 1. What is principle number 1? Now, I'm going to give you a quick recap. You can watch my other videos where I talk about the 18 principles. But principle number 1 is anytime a PM encounters a situation, the PM should take a step back, analyze his or her situation, investigate, collect enough data to make a sound decision. In other words, the PM should not take direct action. The PM should take a step back. So let's jump into a quick example over here, and we're going to solve this together. And again, note my methodology down. Okay, note it down. Take notes on this. Let me see if I can. Okay, anyways, I'll move my face when the time comes. Note how I break down this problem because this is going to help you on your exam. The first step you want to do is you want to read with purpose. You want to read with intent, meaning that you are trying to read in such a way that you understand the problem statement because you do not have time to go back and read the question a second time. So let's go for it. You are managing a construction project and the team has encountered an issue with the foundation design, which may not be suitable for the current soil conditions. The structural engineer suggests modifying the foundation design, but this change could increase costs and delay the project by 2 weeks. The client is unaware of the issue and your team is under pressure to make a decision quickly. What should the PM do next? So you have the situation where we are trying to modify the design, but it could lead to extra costs and delays. What should we do? That's our problem statement. What should we do as the PM? What should we do next? A, accept the engineer's suggestion and proceed with modifying the foundation design. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what else there is. Investigate the issue by discussing it with both structural engineer and a geotechnical expert. Then analyze all possible options before deciding on a course of action. Very good. Principle number 1, you're taking a step back. A is an action. A is you are saying that, you know what, I'm going to accept. I'm going to basically do what the engineer suggested. B is not an action in comparison with A, right? In relation with A. B is, let me take a step back first. Let me discuss it. Let me see what's going on. Let me gather all the information, all the possible options. And then maybe I'll do A. Maybe I'll do something else. Let's move on. Inform the client about the issue and ask them to choose between proceeding with the current design or approving the modification. Okay. So you might think that this is the answer. Inform the client about the issue and ask them to choose between proceeding with the current design or approving the modification. This is technically taking a step back as well. However, B is more on it's more aligned with principle number 1 because we are taking a step back in order to collect the information that is required to make a sound decision. C is simply, hey client, choose what you want to do without collecting that information. So I would still pick B because B is closer to principle number 1. D, ignore the issue for now and proceed with the current design to avoid delays. Again, principle number 18 in my principle list. Never reject a request. Or in this case, don't ignore a problem. I mean, this D doesn't really sound like, doesn't sound like a good solution at all. If anytime you see ignore, you don't choose that solution, okay? Again, if you want to check out my 18 principles, I'm going to include a link in this description below, but it's one of my videos where you can get a summary of all the principles, okay? The best solution here is going to be A, guys. Oh, sorry, B. It's going to be B. This is a pretty simple solution, but I'm trying to just demonstrate to you the difference between principle number 1, where you take a step back, and an action, which follows principle number 1. Meaning that once you do B, you can do A. You can also do C. You wouldn't do D, but technically you can do D, but you wouldn't do D because it has to ignore, okay? Meaning that once you have enough information, once you have enough data, once you have enough understanding of the processes, of the options, you can choose whatever you need to at the end, okay? Let's move on to cheat code number 2. Cheat code number 2 is when there is an occurrence that affects the schedule, choose the answer that looks at the critical path. Very important. You're going to get this a lot. Question's going to say there could be a potential delay or the project is going to be delayed. And if there is an answer that mentions the words critical path, you choose that. You choose that. You choose that. Obviously read everything else, but you choose that, okay? All right, let's look at this problem together. Remember, read the question, frame the problem. You are managing a project to develop a new software application, and the testing phase is about to begin. However, one of your key developers has just informed you that they need an additional week to complete their assigned tasks, which will delay the start of testing. This delay will impact other tasks, but some non-critical tasks can still be processed as planned. What should you do next? Okay. So a problem statement is simple. A problem statement is that this developer will need extra time, and this will delay the project. That's it. Okay. The problem statement in very simple terms is our project is going to be delayed. What should we do? A, extend the project schedule to accommodate the developer's delay and communicate the updated timeline to the stakeholders. Okay, that sounds good. That doesn't sound like a wrong plan, like a wrong situation. That sounds like a good option. We said that there's going to be a delay. Why not just extend the project schedule to accommodate for developers' delay and then communicate that? Okay. B, review. I already like this word. Review is taking a step back. Okay, but let's continue. Review the project schedule and evaluate, okay, principle number 1 as well. If the delay affects the critical path, then explore options to reallocate resources or fast track. This is a loaded question. It has a lot of principles in use. Review and evaluate were principle number 1. Principle number 1. Okay? Remember what I said. If you see principle number 1, you pick that. Let's go back. And then it also mentions critical path, which goes hand to hand with the delay. You need to understand your critical path. I'm not going to get into terminology right now. That's not the point of this video. If you need some terminology help, you can always Google it. Right? It's a very simple term, very popular. You can reallocate resources or fast track as well. Those are scheduling compression techniques. Again, I'm not going to get into it in detail. The point of this video is to showcase the the principles or the cheat codes in use. Okay, so you have critical path and you have principle number 1. So you have 2 principles in action over here, or 2 hacks, 2 cheat codes. Let's call them cheat codes. C, ask the developer to work overtime to meet the original deadline. So B is a better solution because B takes a step back. And C, you never want to ask someone to work overtime, but if it's the only choice, it's something that can potentially follow B. D, postpone the start of testing and notify the stakeholders of the delay. Okay, here's the thing that I forgot to mention actually. In project management, note this down, it's very important. We never want to settle for a delay. Even though the question is telling us that, listen, the developer is going to need more time, there's going to be a delay, that is the worst thing that can happen to a project. Why? Because when there is a delay, you need to pay the contractors more, for the extra delay. You got to pay for the equipment renting costs. There's so many expenses that start adding up. Your client gets angry, whatever it may be. What B is doing is B is not accepting the delay. B is saying, you know what? Let's just review the project schedule and evaluate if the delay affects the critical path. Because if it doesn't, we can get away with this. And then if it does, we can explore options of reallocating resources or fast tracking to get the project back on schedule. A, on the other hand, I forgot to mention this, note this down. A accepts the delay. A says that, you know what, we are not going to take further action. We are going to agree with this developer. We're going to extend the project schedule. And D as well. A and D accept the delay. Again, if you need principal help, my 18 principles videos is in the description below. If I start talking about the 18 principles, this video is going to be way too long. Okay? So the best answer here is going to be B. Let's move on. Number 3. When the answer mentions information not mentioned in the question, eliminate that answer. You're going to see this a lot on the exam. And people get so caught up in this because they start assuming things. Do not assume. The scope, keyword right there, the scope of the question is whatever is on your screen. Do not start assuming different situations, different scenarios. Let's look at an example of this. All right. Again, number 1, we frame the problem. You are managing a software development project. During a sprint review, the team identifies a significant issue with a feature that isn't functioning as expected. The team has been following the project plan, and this issue was not anticipated. What should you do next? There's a feature that's causing problems. We didn't expect this to happen. What should we do next? A, investigate the issue with the project team and explore possible fixes before adjusting the project plan. Very good answer. Investigating, taking a step back, exploring the issue with your team. Why your team? This is another principle, because your team are experts. They know what they're doing better than you do in terms of this project, right? You are the manager, you are the leader, but they are the ones that are actually building the project. This is another principle. Again, 18 principles video is going to be linked down below. And explore the possible fixes. Okay, very good. Refer to the lessons learned register from past projects to determine, tongue twister here, how to resolve this issue. Now, people might say this is a good solution. Why don't I look at a past project? We had this problem before, blah, 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 and let me solve this issue. How do you know that there has been a past project that has been completed? The question does not mention this at all. So we can eliminate this. We're going to actually do something similar with this principle in the coming cheat code. So you're going to see this come up again, okay? But we can eliminate this because there's no indication of a past project in the question. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor, ask for guidance on how to proceed. So again, one of our key principles, principle number 8, for the millionth time, it's going to be in the description below. And I keep saying this because I see people in the comments of my other videos saying, where are the principles? Where are the principles? I made a video on it. You guys check it out, Don't be lazy. Check it out. Everything is there. C, you never escalate things. Don't escalate things. Don't go to the sponsor. Don't go to the CEO. Don't go to the HR. Don't go to the functional manager. You are the PM. You got to solve your own problems. D, add more resources to the team to address the issue more quickly. Now, this could follow A if needed. But again, A is going to be the best solution. It's principle number one in action, like we mentioned before. And adding more resources, you don't want to do that right away because it increases the budget. And you don't want to increase the budget. This is principle number two. I know it sounds a little bit confusing. What are you talking about? Principle this, principle that. But this is number two, where you don't want to increase the budget necessarily. Okay? Best answer is going to be A. But the point of this question is to eliminate B because it has not been mentioned in the question. Okay, cool. All right, another one here. Another cheat code, which is not that common, but I've seen it a couple of times actually. So anytime an answer mentions only, or any word that eliminates all other possibilities, possibilities, eliminate that option, okay? So this is going to be best explained through an example. Again, let's solve this as though it's a real exam problem so we can get some practice in. Step number one, frame the problem. You are managing a project to develop a new mobile application. During a review meeting, a major issue is identified in the user interface design that could affect the user experience. The team needs to resolve this issue quickly to stay on schedule. What should you do next? Okay. So there's a major issue. I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's the interface design. I don't care if it's the application, whatever it may be. There's a major issue that's going to affect user experience. What should we do to stay on schedule? A, the PM should only speak to the, this is pretty obvious, right? The PM should only speak to the UI designer to understand the issue and decide how to proceed, okay? Now, this is technically a good solution. You're speaking to the person in charge. You're taking a step back. You're understanding the issue. This is technically principle number one in action. However, they mention this word only. You don't only want to speak to one person. You never want to only speak to one person because you don't gather enough feedback. But let's move on. Gather the relevant team members, including UI designers, developers, and testers, to discuss the issue and identify possible solutions. That's also principle number one. But it's much more complete. There's much more going on for it. Now, again, these questions are pretty easy because I want you to understand the cheat codes. I don't want you to get too caught up in the questions right now. We're going to work on harder problems in future videos. Immediately escalate the issue to the project sponsor to seek additional resources. So again, like we mentioned, we don't escalate things. We solve the problem. Request that the UI designer work overtime to fix the issue as soon as possible. So this could come as a consequence of option B. However, we never want to ask our employees to work overtime. Number one, there's additional cost. Number two, it creates friction. You don't want to force someone to work overtime. It does happen though. Obviously, it does, even in real life as well. It probably happens way more often in real life. But B is going to be the first best solution. Okay, and again, A we eliminate because it contains a word that eliminates all other possibilities. Let's move on. Number 5. This one's pretty popular. Never give your team member an extra task that will reduce their capacity to focus on their primary tasks. This includes grouping them with other team members to train them. So you're going to see the second part a lot. Someone is not that skilled, or he or she is new. You group them with a senior, let's say a developer, so they can train. So the junior can get trained by the senior. What you're doing at the end of the day is you're reducing the capacity of the senior developer, and this is not what we want to do. We want to retain their capacity because they need to work on our project. So let's look at this problem together. You're managing a project to launch a new website. One of your key developers is handling a critical back-end work that is crucial for the project's timely completion. Another team member who is new to the team is struggling to understand certain parts of the back-end system and has requested additional support. What should you do next? New team member, struggling, needs help. That's our problem statement. Frame the problem statement in a way that you understand it. You don't have to worry about, it being understood by others. This is something that you keep in the back of your head when you're solving the problem. A, assign the experienced developer to train the new team member while continuing their back-end work. Okay, again, now this might sound like a good solution. okay, he's going to train or she's going to train the new team member and they're going to continue on the back end work. But this never works. Why? Because you are reducing the capacity of the team member. So be very, very careful if you see this cheat code or principle in use. B, provide the new team member with external resources and tutorials, allowing them to learn independently. Yes, this is a very good solution. Even if the solution says, give the team members, or the team member in this case, extra resources so he or she can learn after hours. Or encourage the team member to learn after hours. The reason being is because if you tell this team member to work on these things, to learn during working hours, you are reducing that new team member's capacity as well. And this new team member has specific tasks that are important for the progression of the project. So by saying learn independently, you are saying what? Number one, you're saying that, no one's going to help you. You got to learn it by yourself. But more specifically, you want to make sure the answer also says that the team member is not working on studying or learning this new technology or whatever it may be during working hours, okay? That's really important. C, reassign a new team member to different tasks that doesn't require immediate expertise in the backend system. A lot of you might pick this. Reassigning might not be possible. You can't just reassign people like that. But anyways, again, I'm trying to highlight cheat code, where if you get a situation like this, you tell the team member to learn by yourself outside of working hours, okay? That's going to be the solution. Ask the experienced developer to document the work and provide written guidance for the new team member to follow. That's a good solution too. It's a really good solution. However, again, you are reducing the capacity of the senior developer by saying document your work. And they can document their work, but when will it be finished? And when will it be handed off to the junior? Right now, we need this junior team member to act right now and to learn right now so he or she can do well in this project, okay? So again, B over here, this is the cheat code that's being used. Let's move on to the last way that you can cheat on the exam without getting caught. Hopefully you guys like that title and it caught your attention. I was thinking, how do I title this so you guys could watch my videos. If you're watching it because of the title, give me a comment in the section below. The title worked. It caught my attention, so I know, so I can gather some feedback. All right, when the question mentions that a similar past project has been completed. So remember, in the last principle, or the last example, I should say, we mentioned that there's a project. There's a project in the lessons learned register, but it hasn't been mentioned in the question. But now, let's say there is a similar project. If the question mentions that there's a similar project, it is literally guiding you to choose that solution that refers back to that project. Or OPAs, operational process assets. Again, I'm not going to get into terminology over here. You can easily search it up. Lessons learned register, etc. Look at this. Look at this example. You're managing a project to implement a new billing system for a company. During a planning meeting, the team encounters an issue with the integration of the billing system into the company's existing software. One of the team members points out that a similar integration project was successfully completed last year. That is your indication. That is your green light. That they're basically telling you, please choose the answer where you refer back to the lessons learned register, past projects, OPAs. Ask the team to brainstorm potential solutions without referring to so your question is not going to be phrased like this, right? These are just examples. You might get a question where it says, discuss with your team members or ask the team member to brainstorm potential solutions. They're not going to mention without referring to the previous project. That's way too obvious. B, review the lessons learned register and organizational process assets from previous project to see if they can help solve the current integration issue. Remember, review is taking a step back. This is principle number 1 as well. It's the most common principle. Make sure you memorize it. You guys should wake up from the middle of your sleep reciting principle number 1. Like, it should be in the back of your head, in the front of your head. It should be in your mind. It should be there when you're taking the exam. So B is a good answer. Inform the project sponsor about the issue and request additional resources to address the integration problem. So again, informing the project manager, project sponsor is escalating it. It's on the same wavelength as escalating it. So we don't want to do this. Remember that your sponsor is someone that you don't go to. You barely go to your sponsor, unless there's something wrong with the budget. But you don't go to your sponsor. Okay, once your sponsor sponsors the project in the beginning, you leave him or her. You don't go to that person. Proceed with the integration without reviewing any past projects to avoid delays. So we don't do that. So again, easy question. I want you to understand what is going on and why we chose B. We chose B because they mentioned use this project. Well, they didn't mention it, but you're supposed to use this project, use a past project that has been completed, okay? Because they mentioned that a past project has been successfully completed. Hopefully this video was of benefit. That is it for this video, and I'm going to be releasing more videos with harder exam questions. Now listen, the principles are going to be included in the description below. I'm very excited to launch my new course, which is going to help you get PMP certified the fastest and the easiest way possible. If you're interested, book an appointment with me and I'll show you the course. Now, this is going to be a paid course. Don't come to the call thinking that it's going to be a free course. Mohammed's going to give you a free course. No, it's going to be a paid course. If you're interested, book a call, get certified as soon as possible. Stop studying for hours, for weeks, for months. Get certified, move on with your life, get that high salary, get more opportunities. Stop making something that can be easy difficult upon yourself, okay? Take care and have a great day. I will see you in our next video.